Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Frenzy. Today, we're checking out the 1993 erotic drama Indecent Proposal. A spoiler alert is in effect, so proceed with caution. Okay then, let's check it out. The movie begins with our leads David and Diana Murphy talking to us about their relationship via a voiceover narration. They mention how they kicked off their romance when they were just teenagers and got married at a young age, against the wishes of their parents. They're shown to be a loving couple even if they have their differences sometimes. Diana works in real estate while David is an aspiring architect. Despite this, they're not financially well off and have to live within their means. One day, Diana comes across a property in Santa Monica and thinks it's the perfect place for David to build their dream home. They get a loan to pay for the land, but are then hit with a financial recession. This causes David to be fired from his job, and this puts a lot of pressure on Diana. Their bank starts demanding repayments on a sum of $50,000, otherwise their land will be seized. David tries borrowing money from his father, but that doesn't turn out to be enough, and they need to think fast. One night, David comes up with an idea and takes Diana to Las Vegas. They enter a casino where David hopes to make some easy money through gambling. He gets busy at the craps tables and Diana looks around in a store while also stealing some chocolates. She's spotted by a wealthy businessman named John Gage, and he seems to have taken an interest in her. Diana tries on a dress, but it costs $5,000, so she clearly can't afford it. John meets her at the store and offers to buy it for her, but she turns down his advances and says that she's not for sale. She goes back to David, who's on a hot streak, and joins him as they continue winning. John watches from a distance as they celebrate their earnings, and Diana does her best to ignore him. They end up winning $25,000 and are halfway through what they need to pay off their mortgage. Diana tells David that she loves him even without the money, and they make love after that. The next day, their luck doesn't go as planned and they lose all their cash at the casino. They head over to John's stable and learn that he's a billionaire. He's losing millions of dollars to his opponent, but he doesn't seem to care. He spots Diana and asks David if he can borrow his wife for luck. She agrees, but she's not good with cards, so he takes her to the craps table instead. She helps him win $1 million, and he decides to reward them with a suite at the hotel. Later, he sends Diana the expensive dress she was looking at earlier as a gift, and also invites the couple to a party that night. They oblige and have a good time with him and the other guests. After everyone has left, John plays a game of pool with David and they have a debate regarding the limitations of what money can buy. He decides to up the stakes by offering $1 million to the couple in exchange for one night with Diana. This upsets them both and they instantly reject his offer. He doesn't make a fuss of it though, instead he says goodnight and leaves. However, David and Diana have trouble sleeping at night and discuss how this money can help secure their lives. Diana convinces David that John will only get her body and not her love, so he eventually agrees to the deal. They contact their lawyer Jeremy to draft the contract and he takes it over to John, even though he feels they could have gotten a better deal. Jeremy and John go through the very specific terms of the agreement and sign the relevant papers. Now that the deal is done, John requests to be left alone with Diana, and David has no choice but to oblige. However, when he sits with Jeremy for dinner, he feels guilty about doing this and rushes back to the room to stop what's happening. But he only comes across the maid and she tells him that John and Diana have left in his chopper. David runs up the stairs but is unable to get to them in time. Diana is taken to John's private yacht where she prepares herself for him with the dress he's provided to her. He arrives later at night and she's taken to meet him immediately. Of course, she's both nervous and upset that she has to do this, and then John plays a few mind games with her regarding this decision. She acts cold and snaps at him when he suggests that she might even enjoy it. Seeing that she isn't impressed with him, he tosses his lucky coin to decide if they should go through with this or call the whole thing off. The odds work in his favor and they go ahead with the act. The next morning, she comes back to David and he's visibly upset. She hugs him and they seem to put it behind them. The both of them promise each other that they're going to forget that this had ever happened. But when they go back home to make their defaulting payments, they learn that their house has been repossessed by the bank and sold to someone else because they were too late to respond. Things get worse when David notices one of John's matchboxes inside their bedroom, and it triggers his memories of the incident. He wants to talk about it with Diana, but she refuses to do so. Then he goes through her bag and finds John's business card inside her wallet. This pisses him off, and he confronts Diana, thinking she's still meeting John. She claims not to know where it came from, and they have an argument. Realizing that their marriage is in danger, Diana decides to bite. She learns that the new owner is John. She finds him in a restaurant and creates a scene by screaming at him for stealing her house. He takes her outside to talk it out, and she offers to buy the land back from him at $1 million. But he's unwilling to sell the house at that price and says it's worth $2 million. She accuses him of harassment, but he states that he bought the land simply as an investment opportunity. He offers her a job instead, but she rejects him and leaves. She comes back home and tells David about what happened, but this only makes him more insecure. They start fighting again, and David asks her if she enjoyed her encounter with John. After a lot of hesitation, she says yes, and it ticks him off even further. He leaves her in a fit of rage and goes to stay at Jeremy's place for the time being. Diana calls to tell David he can keep the money, but he says he doesn't want it either, and they stay separated for weeks without using the cash. One day, John visits Diana's place of work, and her boss forces her to take him to see houses because he wants to buy something expensive. This was, of course, his plan all along, and he ends up taking her to one of his own houses. He says that he wants her, but she replies that he only wants to collect her. He doesn't force the issue, and they leave without getting intimate. Diana takes up a second job teaching citizenship to keep herself busy, but John follows her there as well. After he and her students bleed her, she allows him to sit in her class. Once everyone has left, he takes her to one of his other houses and gifts her some dogs. He asks for a dance and she agrees to it. They get close and also end up kissing each other. They start dating now. Meanwhile, David loses hope in his marriage as he goes through old photos of him and Diana together. It's too much for him to take, and he tears her photos apart. Then he gets drunk and goes around looking for her. He eventually finds John and Diana together and starts ranting at him in a drunken rage. He passes out while trying to swing at John and is taken back home. John's guard notices that David stuck the torn photographs together again and smirks before leaving him. Now that he's alone with no one by his side, David is left with no other option but to take up a teaching job, even though he is overqualified for it. Jeremy meets him after one of his classes and says that Diana wants a divorce. He also says that he'll get the house and the money if he doesn't contest it. Now we see John and Diana at a zoo auction. The first animal on sale is a hippopotamus, and John successfully outbids his opponent with $50,000. But then David suddenly arrives and buys the hippo for $1 million. He goes up to John's stable, and the billionaire leaves him and Diana alone for a while to talk things out. David admits his mistakes and insecurities, after which he signs the divorce papers in front of her. He doesn't create a scene and leaves her alone. John notices this and starts to feel guilty about what he's done. On their way home, John abruptly tells Diana that she was the best of the many women he's inducted into his $1 million club. Diana realizes what he's trying to do and thanks him, after which she leaves him for good. When asked by his guard as to why he lied to her to break up their relationship, John reveals that Diana would have never looked at him the way she looked at David. He also gives her his lucky coin that is actually one-sided, which is why the coin toss at the yacht went in his favor. Diana finds David at the spot where he proposed to her, and the movie ends with the both of them reuniting after some emotional conversation. And there you go, that was Indecent Proposal. The critics didn't really like this one, but the audience did, and I'm gonna side with the audience here. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more interesting recaps coming your way, and let me know some suggestions in the comments below. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one.